Dear students, in this video I will discuss about the nutritional requirements. First, let us define nutrition. Nutrition is the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. There are 5 categories of nutrients required by our body and should be present in the food we eat. These are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. Let us discuss them one by one. First, let us discuss carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are the main sources of energy. The oxidation of carbohydrates during respiration yields energy, which is stored in ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and utilized whenever needed. The different sources of carbohydrates are wheat, maize, barley, rice, potato, etc. Now, the functions of carbohydrates are: it is energy-giving food. These are stored as glycogen in animals and starch in plants. Excess of glucose is converted to fat for storage. They are used for the formation of some amino acids. The next function is formation of cell organelles and cell compounds also need carbohydrates. Now, discussing about fats. These are also composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are formed of fatty acids and glycols. Fats which are in liquid state at room temperature, that's about 20 degrees Celsius, are called oils. Fats give double energy than carbohydrates. The different sources of fats are milk, butter, cheese, egg, meat, and fish. Plant sources are mustard seeds, groundnut, coconut, dry fruits, etc. The different functions of fats are very rich sources of stored energy for the body. Fats are also important components of the cytoplasm and cell membranes. Fats help in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. Now, discussing about proteins. Proteins contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Sulfur is also present in some proteins. Proteins are formed of amino acids. There are about 20 amino acids which are essential for human growth and development. Human body cannot synthesize these amino acids. These amino acids must be present in the proteins we eat. The animal proteins like milk protein, casein, and egg protein, albumin, are called first-class proteins because they contain all the essential amino acids. The other plant proteins obtained from cereals, vegetables, pulses, etc. are called second-class proteins because they do not contain all the essential amino acids. Proteins are called body-building food as they take part in building and repairing of the body tissues. Thus, these are essential for growth, especially for the growing children. The deficiency of proteins cause diarrhea-like symptoms because DASH2 enzymes are not synthesized properly due to shortage of required amino acids. The central nervous system may also get affected. Liver also fails to function normally. The deficiency of proteins in children cause kwashiorkor and marasmus. The symptoms of kwashiorkor disease are producing belly, brownish hair, dark and scaly skin, stunted growth, underweight, swollen legs, loss of appetite, anemia, mental retardation, reduced resistance. Now, the symptoms of marasmus disease are chronic diarrhea, dizziness, fatigue, severe weight loss, change in level of consciousness, paralysis of legs, loss of bowel and bladder control, prolonged vomiting. Now, discussing about vitamins. Seefuck in 1911 was the first to coin the term vitamin. These are organic compounds that can not be synthesized in the body and are taken along with the food, since they are needed in a very small quantity. These are called micronutrients. Vitamins are of two types: fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. The second type is water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin B complex. Now we will discuss about these vitamins. First, fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A sources: yellow vegetables, milk and butter. Deficiency diseases: xerophthalmia means dry cornea and no tears, and night blindness. Vitamin D source are fish liver oil and also from exposure of skin to ultraviolet radiations. Deficiency diseases are rickets means bow-shaped bones and osteomalacia. Osteomalacia means the softening bones of adults. Vitamin E, also called tocopherol. Its sources are green leaves, whole cereal grains and other vegetable fats. Its deficiency disease is destruction of RBCs. The next vitamin is vitamin K or phytoquinone. Sources are green leaves, soybean oil. This vitamin is also synthesized by bacteria present in the intestines. Its deficiency disease or blood fails to clot. Now discussing about the water-soluble vitamins. First, let us discuss about vitamin B complex. Vitamin B1, also called thiamine. Sources are yeast, cereals, egg yolk, liver, etc. It causes a disease known as beriberi. This disease means loss of appetite and reduction motility in digestive tract. Vitamin B2 or riboflavin. Sources are green leaves, milk, eggs, liver, yeast, etc. Deficiency disease Chillosis. Chillosis means inflammation and cracking at corners of mouth, itching and burning of eyes. The next vitamin is nicotinic acid or niacin. Its sources are green leaves, milk, eggs, liver and yeast. It causes a disease known as pellagra in man. The next vitamin is folic acid or folacin. Its sources are green leaves, milk, eggs, liver, yeast, orange and banana. It causes a disease, its deficiency causes a disease known as anemia. The next vitamin is vitamin B6 or pyridoxine. Its sources are yeast, cereal grains, milk, liver, etc. Its deficiency causes a disease known as convulsions in children. The next vitamin is pantothenic acid. Sources are yeast, peanuts, egg yolk, milk, liver. It causes abnormal adrenal functioning. The next vitamin is biotin. Its sources are yeast, cereal grains, egg yolk, vegetables, fresh fruits, etc. Its deficiency causes a disease with scaly and itching skin. The next vitamin is vitamin B12 or cyanocobalamin. The sources are liver, fish, meat, milk, egg yolk, etc. Its deficiency causes pernicious anemia, means slow growth in children. These vitamins are collectively called vitamin B complex. Now, another water-soluble vitamin is vitamin C, also called ascorbic acid. Its sources is citrus fruits, tomatoes, vegetables, etc. And its deficiency causes a disease known as scurvy. This disease means bleeding in mucous membranes, under skin and into joints. Now we will discuss about the minerals. Minerals form about 4% of our body weight. These play a vital role in various biological processes. At least 29 elements are found in the human body. Out of these elements, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen are found in substantial amounts in the body and fulfill the basic requirements of the tissue structure and formation of various biochemical substances. Besides these, there are 8 more elements: calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and iron. These are required in large amounts, hence these are called macronutrients. In addition, there are certain other elements which are required in very small amounts. These are copper, iodine, fluorine, cobalt, manganese, zinc and molybdenum, and are known as micronutrients. Deficiency of any one of these elements might lead to undesirable consequences, like calcium deficiency causes weakness of bones and teeth. Iron deficiency leads to anemia. Iodine deficiency causes goiter. You must know that for good health, it is necessary to include variety of food items in the diet, so that the nutrients are to be taken in sufficient quantity and in proper proportion. Such a diet is called balanced diet. Deficiency of one or more essential nutrients in the diet is known as malnutrition. Malnutrition at the early age of childhood can cause certain irreversible damage to the brain. Malnutrition in later years may affect the size, weight, and mental development. Overnutrition also leads to certain disorders like obesity and hypercholesterolemia.